All right, let's watch Understanding Marxism by Page Review.
Why does anyone still care about Marxism? Karl Marx has been dead for well over a century.
Hell yeah.
Everywhere Marxism has been tried, it has left death and destruction in its
So
wake.
right.
In fact, nothing in the last...
Unlike capitalism, which is no deaths. Never forget. If famine, food shortages happen under a communist organization, that is because of communism's failure. But of course, if people, like the 14 million people that die every year as a consequence of famine, when capitalism has created a surplus of food, an abundance of food, those people are dying because they don't have their bootstraps, okay? That's it. Remember, communism, responsible for any death and all deaths. Capitalism, responsible for no deaths. I've made the greatest argument of all time. There you go. You can't deny it. That's the best argument, dude. Guy has the Expanse hair. Yeah, this is the least reliable narrator, okay?
Last 1,000 years comes close to the amount of tyranny, terror, and mass murder brought about by Marxist regimes. Yet Marxism lives. It may present itself today as postmodernism, multiculturalism, feminism, environmentalism, or critical race theory. But it's still Marxism. So, there must be good reasons why it is enduring.
It would be nice to see your morning and evening prep may help smaller streamers coming from you. Wait, what? No, dude. Like, not. I already offered too much into my life. You want the one moment that I'm like not on camera? You want to hear, you want to like go into like literally you put your tentacles in like the last part of my life, dude, that's like to myself? Holy
even flourished in the face of unremitting failure. Say what you will about Marx the economist. He was a master psychologist. He recognized that there are many people in every society who are motivated by envy and resentment. Marx speaks directly to them. He tells them that their responsibility for the misery in their lives belongs to the capitalist system.
Dude, this stuff is awesome because like no one has read any of Marx's work. So you could just like say whatever you want about Karl Marx and people would just be like, yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, no, this guy just owned the entire school of thought. He owned all the work that came before by saying Marxism is about jealousy. And the more jealous you are, the more Marxist you are. That's great, dude. That's awesome. No like relations to the means of production and how societies are designed around commodity production. No historical materialism. None of that. It's just Marxism, envy. And the more envious you bitches are, the more Marxist you get. Which is, by the way, the saddest thing because, like, unironically, some people do operate like that on the internet. It's a bad look. I'm just saying. Jealousy's a disease, love. Get better soon, yeah?
If we can just get rid of that, he promises, we can eliminate poverty, inequality, exploitation, class conflict, war, and alienation. Not a bad list if you're looking to start a revolution. But there's more. Marxism assures us that this socialist utopia is close at hand, available to all, not in some distant future or in the next life, but here and now. All we have to do is overcome one little obstacle: human nature.
Quite literally, it is the exact opposite. The understanding is that the contradictions inherent to capitalist society, which Marx was very much a fan of. He was a capitalism stan, I guess. I mean, he wrote a whole book about it. Okay, he definitely wrote a lot about capitalism. Okay. The idea is that the inherent contradictions between the two classes will inevitably have to resolve itself, and that socialism will be the next evolutionary stage of mankind rather than human nature. As a matter of fact, there are plenty of takes against the idea that greed is a part of human nature, that the only reason why we think greed is a part of human nature is because we are living in a capitalist organization of the economy. That greed being a part of human nature under capitalism is like thinking that the black lung is a part of human nature because you work in the coal mines, okay? That's kind of the point, that it's not about greed and human nature at all. Greed not being a part of human nature. Holy Why? How do they do this? Like, it's just, I mean, I guess this guy's a college professor, chat. He's a college professor.
Marx expressed his deepest views on this subject in his economic and philosophical manuscripts of 1844. They can be summed up in one phrase.
Oh, dude, let's go.
The enemy of being is having. In other words, the desire to own things makes you a bad person.
That's what? Dude. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Greed is bred from inequality. Inequality is man-made. Brother, you never had a dipshit college professor? No, it's just like funny that this dude is literally... No, PragerU is not a real university, but he actually teaches at Clemson, which is, as far as I know, a real university, okay? He's a professor of political science at Clemson University. This guy's like... This guy who's just like making up. Okay?
However,
Make up university is doing this. By the way, dude, this is how much reactionary politics has staying power, dude. This is literally no different than like people on Twitter, dude. Leftists on Twitter believe this. That's the worst part. That's what kills me. Like, leftists on Twitter unironically are just like, yeah, dude, that's true. You are a bad person for owning things, and you, actually. Like, that's it. That's how much it kills me when I see leftist people, like, repeating ridiculous right-wing reactionary framing that they've taken on from the left.
Not to blame. The blame belongs to capitalism. The most common interpretation of Marx's philosophy suggests that he opposed capitalism because it creates an unjust world of inequality, exploitation, and class conflict. Marxism...
Wait, he's just going to move on from that as like a... Wait, hold on. Okay. Wait, he just left... Okay, that part was correct. Why is he just left that there and just moved on? Is he gonna say like that's a bad thing, like why that attitude is wrong or something?
Because it creates an unjust world of inequality, exploitation, and class conflict. Marxism, according to this view, is all about equalizing income and social status. This is true.
No, it's not. What are you saying? What the dude, what? Dude, what the dude, oh my god. Yeah, Marxism is about having a flat fee. Everyone needs to have equal... Everyone needs to get paid equally. Did I misunderstand what he's saying? Am I like...
Equalizing conflict. Marxism, according to this view, is all about equalizing income and social status. This is true, but it doesn't go far enough. Marx saw the accumulation of material wealth as dehumanizing. The more money and material possessions one acquires, the more estranged one is from his true humanity. And what was...
Wait. I'm missing... Am I misunderstanding what he's saying? You're gonna die caring so much, dude? I don't... Okay. There's a certain underlying doctrine often tied to higher education in the West. He doesn't understand anything outside of that worldview. It was good until he tried to beat my ass with jumper cables. What? Until he tried to beat my ass with jumper cables outside the frat at RU? What? I wish you never tried to beat me up at RU? Why did you and your friends try to fight me and my friends outside the engineering frat at RU? I'll never forgive you for that. What? Are you all right, chatter? What the? Bro, what the? Dude, that's. Am I watching? Am I watching someone just like unfold? Or just like having a attack, like a mental health outbreak here? What's happening, dude? Are you okay? Jumper cables is an old Reddit meme. Lol lol. That's a Reddit copy pasta. What is happening, dude? What? Explain yourself, please. 7-month subscriber. Kind of. You didn't beat him up, so he wasn't coming around talking, ruining the vibe. He's gone. I love that. Like, there's at least one person who now believes this chatter. By the way, like, why are you sweating? I'm not. It is a complete psychotic thing that this person made up. Scroll up, definitely mental illness. If I give you my number, will you call me tonight before bed? If I give you my number, will you call me tonight before bed? If I give you my number, will you call me tonight before bed? I know I bugged the shit out of you yesterday about it, but any chance you might unban my main account D-Pipes? I only watch 3 streamers and you're one of them. Again, I'm sorry, man. He is rehabilitated. Free him. Yeah, clearly. Let's check the logs on that one. Let's see what he said there. Oh, that account is suspended, dude. That account doesn't even exist anymore. It's like suspended from the website, whatever the fuck he said. What's up, dog? Bro, this kind of stuff makes me so sad, like, straight up. It's just like I think about it daily. Dude, I don't know you. I've never been around you. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I mean, I can't even. I think about it daily. That's not a thing that happened, dude. I thought he was memeing. He's like actually serious. Holy I think talking about this more is making it worse. Yeah, 100%. Nah, they're trolling you. I don't think they're trolling, brother. I didn't mean to derail you. I'm sorry. Dude, that's not a thing that happened. I'm just letting you know. Oh, this was their. Oh, wow. This was their. Maybe he is trolling. This was the reason why he got banned. You're going to share that $3 million house you bought with your socialist sheep followers? Capitalism, right, though? I had a pretty tame heated gamer moment and got banned for it. I have been subscribed and donated to Hasan, and even though I don't always agree with him, I respect what he's doing. I up, but would like to still be a part of this community and will keep my in check. If you please will unban me. I honestly apologize across the line. Thank you. That was a dumb joke. Sorry. $6 months sub on his alt. Just let him have the main. Dog, his main is not even something I can unban. You get that, right? It's been banned by the site. I don't know what the he did, but he got a site-wide ban. I didn't touch him. Beating someone with jumper cables is an old Reddit meme. He's 100% trolling. Bro, now you have to actually bring out the jumper cables? Yeah. He got IP banned from Twitch. It says a lot about you that I could believe that, though. No, it doesn't. It says a lot about you. It doesn't say a lot about me. It says a lot about you and how deranged you are that you literally looked at a schizo chatter and went, well, I kind of believe that. Dog, what the is wrong? Some of you really need like unironic mental health evaluations on a regular basis, dude. That says significantly more about you, dude. What the Stop trying to normalize this, you weirdos, dude. Stop. Don't even joke about this, dude. Holy, there's too many psychotic people in here. Jesus Christ.
The more money and material possessions one acquires, the more estranged one is from his true humanity. And what was that? In the philosopher's socialist paradise, one gets to eat, drink, and go to the theater free of charge and without having to earn a living. Best of all, you get to do it without the guilt of being a moocher. All you have to do is enjoy yourself. Or, as Marx put it, you can do one thing today and another tomorrow. Hunt in the morning, fish in the afternoon.
I mean, this is correct. He did say this, except this is about having additional free time for self-fulfilling activities as a consequence of like your control over your own labor and the control over the means of production. Because as it stands currently, when you look at productivity increasing as a consequence of technological achievements in a way that even Marx could not have foreseen, you still see wages remaining stagnant, and you still see the same 8-hour work week, 8-hour work day, and 5-day work week. Okay, regardless of the fact that technological achievements should have opened up a lot of free space and a lot of free time for individuals. Okay, but it didn't. You want to know why? It only improved productivity of the average worker, and that made it so that you could fit more work actually into the 8 hours a day that you're working and the 5 days a week that you're working. Because we have no control over our own destiny, we have no control over our own societal organization, we have no control over any of that when we have no power as workers. Okay, so because of that, you just, every time there's technological achievements that occur, it's used basically against you. What is this? Nope, a bunch of people got clap for saying prepare the D. Jesus. Anyway, no, there was something. I thought that they said something interesting. So technological achievements are capital almost always gifted to the capital owner by the scientist. I don't know what they were saying. You're autistic and only got one interested, if we're being honest now, with people's health. What? You have tons of money like Ethan Klein. You are the one that is saying we need help. Lol, there is none. You die if you're mental or called schizoid by lucky internet freaks. Fool is so smart but thinks there's help for his fans. People find this his insane self entertaining. Bro, every time, dude. I don't understand. Every time. Anyway, let's just move on. Let's move on. We're no longer looking at I should never look at stuff like that. it makes it so much worse. Every single person that has whatever that other chatter has literally will turn around and spiral out of control. Okay.
And rear cattle in the evening. Yes, rear cattle in the evening.
The chatter is kind of right though. And yes, every single time I bring up like someone who is clearly mentally unwell and thinks I'm like directly communicating with them, there's at least 10 people who go, "That's actually kind of true." Dude, if you feel that way when you see someone who's like clearly going through an episode, please just, take a deep breath and maybe log off for the day, okay? It's time for self-examination rather than the opposite, okay? I got to stop. I'm stopping.
That's how in touch Marx was with reality. But who cleans out the sewers, does the dirty jobs that keep a society functioning? Ironically, in the evil capitalist society, the sewer cleaner freely chooses to take on his job. In the socialist...
Wait, what? Wait, who takes on the sewer cleaning job in a capitalist society? They freely choose it? No, they don't. They don't. That is such a lie, dude. I like that when he's talking about like capitalism, it's like, oh yeah, he freely chose to do this, right? He freely chose to do this. Like this was his own desire. Like, no, this is not his own desire. He is brought into the system where subjugation is a necessity, and basically he has to work for subsistence for the rest of his life. Okay. And that every other facet of his existence is expensive as, so he has to take on whatever job he can, because the only incentivization structure is revolves around not starving and dying.
Functioning. Ironically, in the evil capitalist society, the sewer cleaner freely chooses to take on his job. In the socialist paradise, coercion is almost always required. Marx never...
No, he literally is saying under capitalism, like they freely chose it, but there has to be coercion. No, dog, the coercion in that circumstance would be like any single person in any single job that they have more of an ownership over what they're doing. More of an ownership over what they're doing. They choose their hours better. They have the capacity to democratically assign however many hours they're going to be working in these jobs. They get better pay as a consequence of that, because these are jobs that normally would be way more expensive to complete in a situation where like no one would choose to do it. It's exactly the opposite. It's coercion. Obviously, someone has to clean the toilets is like one of the main problems, right? And numerous people have come up with different solutions for it. But ultimately, what I always say is that no matter which way you do it, having more ownership over your own workplace, having ownership over your means of production will allow you to want to do that, because it's positive incentivization, recognizing that you are valuable, and without you the cogs don't turn, okay? And doing it because it's something that someone has to do, and getting fairly compensated for it is precisely the way to do it.
Never bothered with such messy details. He left that to others. Unfortunately, those others always...
People owning cleaning businesses would not go away with communism. The labor would just be owned by those who cleaned. Yeah, it's just like... It's a very strange attitude to have. Like, I mean, think about like pool cleaners and you know what I mean? They all unironically operate as like self-owner. Like they all have their own businesses. You know what I mean? Like one guy usually doing it. You can do that.
Turn out to be megalomaniacs, like Lenin, Stalin, Mao, Castro, Pol Pot, and Hugo Chavez. They were the ones who brought Marx to life and in the process caused tens of millions to suffer and die. contrary to Marx's claims, work freely.
Dude, liberals have no analysis skill, dude. They just don't have any like bone in them. It renders them useless when you need to like talk about material realities. Like they just have to be like, no, it's because they were narcissists, dude. Like it always has to be some like weird, intangible, like, you know, idealistic thing, like some spiritual problem. Also, KG is liberal. Yes, of course they're liberal. They're liberal in the European sense. Obviously, not liberal in the... Okay, you can stop justifying the millions of deaths now. Cleaning sewers is a dangerous job. You can't have unwilling, untrained people in there. Facts. Okay, you can stop justifying the millions of deaths now. I'm not. 14 million people die of famine when we literally have an abundance of food on this planet right now. 14 million people die of famine-related diseases and famine. This is before we even talk about imperialism. This is before we talk about the many other reasons, the many other ways that people are murdered pretty much under capitalism. And you turn around and you go, you can stop justifying the millions of deaths now. I'm poking, bro. Good one, dude.
Chosen brings both money and dignity. Furthermore, most people work best.
No one is freely working under a capitalist organization of the economy. That's not true. A budget shortfall is built into your existence, okay? In America, this is doubly true. Ultimately, you only work because if you don't work, you not have money to put clothes on your back, to put food on your table, and a roof over your head. That fear, the fear of the structural violence of poverty, is what keeps you going. Okay? Wait, why didn't we just ban this guy, dude? Holy I'm sorry for the disruption. Dude, take your meds, okay? Here, I only timed you out. Please, go take your meds. Take care of yourself. Being in this stream is not helping you, okay? Go. Go take your meds. The jumper cable guy. Don't say take your meds. He just said it. He said he didn't take his meds today. Shut the f up. I read his chat. Bro, yo, I swear to God, dude. I can't with how stupid you are in the chat, dude. You literally are so uncharitable. You're straight up, your immediate assumption is like, I'm being mean to a person. Like I'm being ableist. Like he literally said, I didn't take my meds today. Maybe that's the reason. I said, hey, I'm not going to ban you. I'm going to just, time you out. Go take your meds. Why? Why are you so horny to immediately be like, oh, he must be just being a piece of shit again? I don't understand how there is a relationship between me and the chat where like the chat itself is sometimes so incredibly uncharitable. God damn, dude. Yeah, I didn't see what the chatter said, but I assume I missed some context because you're not just going to be an yes.
When they pursue their own self-interest, an idea Marx despised. To him, self-interest turns everyone into Ebenezer Scrooge, greedy, grasping, and unfeeling. Not only is money, that is capital, inherently corrupting, but the acquisition of it can't be done honestly or fairly. The rich got rich by exploiting the worker.
Yes, that's true. All of this is true. That's literally how that works. That is how this works, okay? Under a capitalist organization of the economy, okay, the fear of starvation is what motivates you to work a job like this. And in that job, your boss, okay, the capital owner, will take your surplus labor value. You are always, by design, automatically going to be paid less than what you bring to the table. That is called profits, okay? That's it. It's kind of funny how if XQC or someone else did that, then they would be praised. Yes, but XQC does not have an entire community of weirdos. Okay, that's the difference. And XQC is well liked by all the weirdos on the internet for the most part, whereas all those weirdos come in here and only see me from the incredibly negative view. Anyway. I know it's honest because leftism is one no joke. Because you reward them for trolling you like this, please just ban the shitlords like this. I don't think a lot of those people are. I don't think a lot of those people are doing it because they want to be weird. I think a lot of them are doing it unintentionally. Anyway, look. Now watch this clip posted on Twitter in a few days. Title something like HasanAbi being mean to a mentally disabled person with like 20K likes. Yeah, no, I know. And that's the other part. It's like I banned. Remember when I banned that cat boy and like they still use that? They still use that to this day, even though like Catboy themselves are like in this community. They still are like, oh, dude, remember when Hasan was like being incredibly transphobic? Like the person apologized for popping off relentlessly, but everyone else on those like hater communities are still using that to be like, dude, look at how transphobic he was. I didn't even know they were trans, you idiot. Anyway. Catboy collector. Catboy's legacy continues. Yeah, exactly. It's just like constantly up my hyperfixating on chat super hard today. I know. Okay. Ironically, we'll complain about virtue signaling and turn around and do the same thing. You just sound angry all the time. I mean, dude, are you not in the chat? I'm angry because I care. It sucks. And there are people that abuse that all the time for their own selfish desires. They want to center themselves around the conversation. It's really frustrating when people do that. When people are like finger wagging and reading uncharitably into what I'm not actually saying, or personally misunderstanding what I'm saying in an effort to like make a position for them, make up a position and get mad about that position. They're doing it because it's just super narcissistic and selfish. Okay. To be fair, you have the largest trans audience on the platform by a mile, so you making fun of someone and then happening to be trans is bound to happen. I mean, yeah, but okay. First and foremost, I'm actually gonna go on the YDSA panel in a little bit. The co-chair of the YDSA National Labor Committee wanted me to come for the launch call for the YDSA Summer Labor Program. They want to log on to the call for at least 5 minutes before the event begins, if possible, and I will be speaking at from 8:50 to 8:55, and there will be a short Q&A section from 8:55 to 9. Alex Press is hosting the call, and she will introduce me. The proposed agenda for the call is here, and we'll share the panelist Zoom link with the call soon. Everyone else has like actual, important to talk about, whereas I have nothing in mind, it seems. During your speaking time, we were thinking you could speak about the importance of participating in organizing campaigns to combat pessimism, but please let me know if there's anything else you would like to speak about. No, I didn't respond to that, so that's probably why. Okay. Classic Hasan. Okay, shut the fuck up. I'm this way. I am this way because I'm literally live all the time for you, okay? Understand? And then at 7 p.m., I have the BBC call. Anyway, why are you accepting something without any preparation? What? Why do you think you, a random chatter, can scold me about what I can and can't do? They want me to just like, the reason for why they want me to be there is because a lot of you in this community have joined YDSA because you've been in this community for a very long time, including some of the chapter presidents that already spoke in the chat. The reason why they want me to live stream this call is so that we can, get other people to also join YDSA. That's part of the reason. Why do you think you are Why do you think you have the capacity to scold me from your comfortable anonymity on the internet? Do you think you are doing praxis by doing this? Fuck. All right. I'm just like, I can't stop myself from ripping into random really bad chatters. I don't know what is going on. Anyway, let's stop making chat look bad. Yeah, I don't have to do too much for that. Sometimes they can. Okay, so as I was saying, this is exactly how this works. This is exactly how exploitation works. You can make it seem as though it's totally different, but as long as you advocate for profits, that are not democratically assigned by the entire workforce, that like you are talking about like just literally just taking people's surplus labor value and pocketing it for your shareholders, okay? That in and of itself is theft in a Marxian sense. That in and of itself is exploitation in the Marxian sense, which is theft.
The rich got rich by exploiting the worker. For Marx, there's no other possible explanation. For many today, there is no other possible explanation. For these people, Marx offers...
That is quite literally how that works, okay? That is quite literally how that works. I don't know why you can say that that's not how that works. You just own it. The thing about capitalists is that they want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to both simultaneously uphold a system that is quite literally built around commodity production and the extraction of surplus labor value in the form of profits, and continuing to accumulate more and more wealth by doing so, and creating a system, designing a system that basically normalizes this, okay? And it has done it very successfully. And also forcing people into this kind of service, specifically with the threat of poverty at the other side if they do not become servile little little workers. So just own it. If you actually were to put a name and association to like the human beings at the factory, at the widget factory in your econ textbooks, your entire perspective would be a lot different about micro and macroeconomic principles, okay? Like, that's it. The only difference, there's a very specific reason why they don't do that, because then you'd be like, well, what the f***? That's actually pretty up. Like, I don't understand. That doesn't seem great, actually. That, like, I am the little worker at the widget factory is going to be laid off. And that is the reality, which is precisely why they try to mask it and turn around and be like, oh, well, it's not like that. These people wanted to do it. They wanted to clean the toilets, and that they knew the boss was going to take some of their surplus labor value. Like, that's just, Marx's analysis is just 100% fundamentally correct in that regard. It's just correct. The only difference is, like, he's not mixing words, I guess. Okay. His analysis of the extraction of surplus labor value is correct. You call it profits, and you think that that's a good thing. That's the main difference.
It's a philosophical justification for their anger, even their rage. From generation to generation, the formula never varies. Only by bringing the privileged down can the underprivileged be brought up. The venom that pours out of Marx's pen stems ultimately from the fact that reality wouldn't conform to his worldview. It never seems to have occurred to him that people are complex beings with different talents, ambitions, and desires. It may be more accurate to
Wait, what the do you mean? He literally accounted for that by saying you should be able to, by way of collective action and potentially by bringing about like a socialist organization or allowing a socialist organization of the economy to occur, expand on your own personal desires that are unique to you. And focus on your talents, your ambitions, instead of being just a dude that has to toil the land like a serf. You already admitted to that consideration earlier when you were talking about like, oh, they can actually do, people can do whatever the they want to. Like you personally admitted to that. This is such a weird take because like it's the same energy as like, well, poor people just chose to be poor. You know what I mean? It's always a choice. You know? The professor is the executive director of Clemson's Institute for the Study of Capitalism, so this is just another propaganda hit piece on Marx. I mean, everything is. Yeah, from each according to his ability to each according to his needs is of course, famously about how, how everyone needs to be paid the same and about how everyone needs to do the same job. That's what that is. It's about like how human beings do not have the capacity, or Marx's fundamental misunderstanding of human beings being unique. You know what I mean? That's what I took away from that, actually. Thank you.
say he didn't care. If people wouldn't conform to his worldview voluntarily, then the state would just have to use other methods of persuasion, like murder and terror.
What?
It all made sense to the philosopher.
No, he's simply... No, okay. Violence is a part of every political system. Violence is, whether you like to admit it or not, regardless of how humanitarian you are, just a fundamental role, plays a fundamental role in politics. As a matter of fact, politics is all about the distribution of resources and the distribution of violence, as in who gets to do the violent behavior and get away with it. The state, for example, can do violence all the time and does it all the time. There's different kinds of violence. There's the structural violence of poverty. There's systemic violence, like the white supremacist systems that we've established. And then also, there is the direct action of the direct state violence, like police bashing your... And finally, individual acts of violence. Obviously, I'm being as reductive as possible in the situation, but individual acts of violence would be like a person hitting another person. Sometimes justifiable, sometimes unjustifiable. But the attitude that people have towards violence is completely predicated upon who has the power, who has the political capital, and, of course, under capitalism, who has the capital, okay? So, when people talk about the inevitability of violence, they already are recognizing the existence of violence that they're subjected to upon the working class across the board under the bourgeois dictatorship that people exist under in capitalism, in the capitalist organization of the economy. So if there is a turn away from that, okay, if there's a turn away from that towards a different kind of system, then yes, there is going to be inevitable violence because the bourgeois will not give up their power willingly. Okay? This guy's a true leftist because he clearly hates reading books? Yeah. In 1987 survey, nearly half of Americans surveyed believed the phrase "from each according to ability to each according to his need" came from the U.S. Constitution. Yeah. Anyway, what is your political ideology? Do you think that capitalism a whole sucks, or just the USA way of capitalism, no social backbone like in the EU? No, I think capitalism across the board, whether it is in the EU or just a global capitalist order, is just bad. It is bad for the overwhelming majority of people. It is bad for nearly every single person living in the third world. It is certainly less bad for people who are living in the imperial core, but still bad across the board. Even if they are part of the labor aristocracy, they still very much get owned into oblivion by the very same masters of capital that that are running the entire operation. Then go to Russia. Yes, I should leave the United States of America to go to a country that is also run by oligarchs that were the nicest to our oligarchs at the time of the destruction of the USSR. That's the country I should go to. Another kleptocratic oligarch run economy. Yeah, Russia, famously socialist. Let's continue.
As he toiled away in a corner of the British Museum.
So when he says people are met with like violence or whatever when they're unable to change, he's not talking about the working class. Like, even in the most like charitable interpretation of what the Prager guy is trying to say, all I will simply state is this. Okay? If you are living under the oppressive thumb of a bourgeois capitalist-backed government that is subjecting you to untold amounts of violence, as it purposely has designed itself to ensure that you work meaningless jobs and toil away for the rest of your life like a good little servile pig, okay? And anytime you try to change that, it's considered, that's self-defense. That's the way to analyze it, okay? Now, of course, there is no working class militancy in this country because capital has won and labor has lost. That's it. There is no working class militancy. There's no labor militancy in this country. There's no working class organizing in this country. Now, that can change. You're literally blaming free trade and economy? Fat Pig Jim? Hell yeah, I am. Free trade. Yeah, totally. John Press, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Anyway, true capitalism is different. It generates wealth and prosperity. Yeah, you're right.
As he toiled away in a corner of the British Museum or in his squalid London apartment. What is astonishing is that millions came to believe him. What is tragic is that millions more suffered and died because they did. What is scary is that millions continue to believe. I'm Brad Thompson, professor of political science at Clemson University for Prager University.
I love that, dude. Yeah, that's the scary part, dude. Murder. The murder and terror that is baked into and normalized in every facet of capitalist existence is completely overlooked in this subject matter. Obviously, that's just, they deserved it. They had it coming. That's right. Sorry, you shouldn't have been a developing nation with robust natural resources. Have you thought about that, African nations? Have you thought about not being a country that has minerals that we need? Sorry, we're gonna have to free trade your ass, and we're gonna have to free trade your ass super hard. We're gonna do economic imperialism once we're done with the colonial violence that we subjected you to. Okay? Sorry, that's just how it is. Great. This is like the S tier Red Scare propaganda, Lamau. I mean, it's not though, because it's so stupid. Across the board, it's just not good. It's easily dismissible. Reading the comments. I love watching videos like this every so often so I can get a constant reminder of how stupid capitalists are, especially Republicans, lol. Okay, that's one of you that wrote that. Thanks for the breakdown. Damn, this guy's devaluing his students' degrees with every word. Pathetic that peddling second grade like this isn't grounds for termination. Regretfully, when C. Bradley Thompson was naming those who brought Marx to life, he left out 3 very important leaders: Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, and Francisco Franco. Oh, and I almost forgot: Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, George Soros, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Nancy Pelosi, and a few more. Wait, hold on. Is he saying all those people are socialists? What? There are 2 other parts in this series if you want them. Yes, Weeby, give me the brain disease. Go ahead. Communism failed to provide incentives for workers and citizens to work hard and be productive. While there are many benefits from equality, if pushed to an extreme, it robs people of an incentive to make an effort. Also, a big problem with communism is the enormous centralization of power, and if that power turns corrupt, is GG. Yeah, good luck. Good thing that here in capitalism, we don't have a centralization of power, and that centralization of power is not corrupt. Oh, wait, it actually is. There is a centralization of power, and it's completely corrupt with no actual checks or balances. And not only that, but also we literally have normalized that corruption. The most beautiful part about Western capitalist agitprop, okay, that has created this dogmatic attitude towards capitalism's existence that consistently needs to be re-upped, that consistently needs to be defended, is the notion that corporations are undemocratic by design. It is an authoritarian power structure. It's where you spend 80% of your adult lives, and you don't even expect it to be democratic. As a matter of fact, you push back against like even a semblance of power in the form of organizing in the workplace. And that's so incredibly successful propaganda right there, dude. You literally, it's the same attitude as like, Eastern nations, the barbarians, the awful corrupt Eastern nations, the from an Orientalist lens, actually do bribery. What do we have here in the Western world? Well, we have lobbying. We have corporate lobbying. We have the revolving door. These are all completely understandable and completely normal things that a government could do. It's very different than bribery. Bribery is bad. Bribery is wrong and immoral, which I agree with, except when you codify it, except when you basically make it legal in the form of lobbying. Remember that. The same. Corporations are designed quite literally in a way that is authoritarian, undemocratic. You can't not go to work. You can barely not go to work if you're sick. Meanwhile, you're like defending that attitude because you have no self-respect. You have nothing. Not only do you have no self-respect, but you have also lost the will to fight. And I don't blame you for it because you don't understand. You can't even see a world in which you have a mechanism to fight back against that structure. Okay? It's great. It's wonderful. What a sad state of affairs. Understanding Marxism series. This is great. Okay, let's see. Understanding Marxism, from each according to his ability. I love this guy.
In a remarkably short period of time, the philosophy of Karl Marx changed the course of history. At the height of its power, half the world fell under its dominion, kept there by a combination of fear, terror, and brute force.
Yeah.
Then suddenly, in the late
the fear and terror that they subjected the Nazis to is terrifying.
1980s, it imploded. By all rights, this should have been the end of Marxism. But it hasn't turned out that way.
Imploded. With a little push. All around the world, you know what I mean? All around the world, like in Latin American countries, it imploded when we, used the American military to train death squads to murder revolutionary groups and actually train them how to rape nuns effectively. That's real, by the way. That was pretty cool when we did that. That was pretty tight. That's just a natural process, though, Yeah, it's real. Look it up. Look up the El Mozote massacre. Anyway, that is, of course, when we weren't ripping through the country and stealing and extracting all their natural resources. Not even revolutionaries, non-revolutionary communists and socialists too. Oh yeah, of course. Even reformists got the bullet. Okay, let's see what else he's got to say.
From environmentalism with its rejection of free markets to critical race theory, which sees white patriarchy as the source of all evil.
I love that, dude. Critical race theory, yeah. Dude, these are, Marxism. Marxism is teaching people that white patriarchy is the source of all evil, totally.
You'll find Marxism at its root. The leaders of Black Lives Matter, for example, openly acknowledge their devotion to Marxist ideology. How do we explain this fast?
The Black Lives Matter people are like, it has to be a psyop, dude. I just don't. I can't. Like, everything that has come out of that organization, it just comes like, maybe I'm too brain diseased, but like the BLM, the international like BLM organization, it has to be a psyop. Like, there's no way, dude. There's no way. There's just no way. More likely a grift. Okay, well, that too, but
Destination for something that has so utterly failed everywhere it's been put into practice. We can find answers in one of Marx's most enduring epigrams. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. Marx was a poor economist.
it wasn't at first, and a bunch of those people died in car fires, and now it's been clearly. Wait, no. I'm not talking about the BLM international organization is entirely specific, entirely different than the actual Black Lives Matter organizers that have all died under suspicious circumstances. That's not what I'm talking about. Those are not the same people. Actually, as a matter of fact, those people were very critical of like people like DeRay, for example, people that made it into mainstream prominence, regardless of what their background originally looked like. Those people, the actual organizers, isn't the BLM organizers Marxists? Yeah, I don't think the BLM organizers are anything other than maybe agents for the federal government. Okay. Imagine being a poor economist,
But a talented
fucking
journalist.
loser, dude.
The only actual job he ever had. He knew how to turn a phrase. But what does this slogan even mean?
He knew how to turn
According
a
to what
phrase.
ability? According to what need?
Marx was a poster and a slob. That is for sure. The one that, I mean, he's going back to like Marx's entire worldview is designed around his envy for the wealthy, even though like his homie was pretty wealthy. I mean, literally had a factory, and didn't. I don't know if he was like super envious of Engels, you know. He would either be the best or worst Twitter poster. No, Marx was disgusting. Like, lived in filth, didn't take a shower, would be up for many hours throughout the day, and then and sometimes throughout the entire night, would write for like hours and hours, and then sleep during the day. He was crusty as. That's at least what the cops said when the police were spying on him. Don't get any dumbass ideas. No, you are not like Karl Marx, because you also don't shower.
And who determines anyone's ability or anyone's need? Marx never bothered to answer these obvious questions. He had much bigger things on his mind. Nothing less than the creation of an entirely new kind of world.
I like that. He's like, he's just basically saying like, no, someone has to do that. Like, someone, it can't be up to the individual. I thought you were a individualist. Like, what's up? Yo, these capitalists, like, they drop the pretext of like hyping up the individual so quickly when you are seen as like when you have an opportunity to be like, well, what about when someone else when someone is personally deciding on that, you know what I mean? It's like, well, no, you can't do that. Someone has to do it. Someone has to make you work at gunpoint. Remember when the Chamber of Commerce was like looking for new ways to get people to go back to work when people were just not going back to work? And they were like, all right, we should just like literally, I don't know, force people back to work at gunpoint. I remember.
Than the creation of an entirely new kind of world for an entirely new kind of human being. Marx believed that by altering man's economic and political institutions, he could alter, or even better, rewire the human brain. He could conjure a new consciousness that would replace the old false one. This new man would be less selfish and acquisitive and more altruistic and communal. In short, he would be a superior type of man.
Wait, but we do that already. That's what's going on under capitalism. He's not wrong. Yes, exactly. No, that's like the fact that the very notion that you think that this society is designed around greed, and the very notion that people personally believe that they too are a temporarily embarrassed millionaire or billionaire rather than the abused, exploited proletariat is straight up because of that. You can talk about it like it's a lobotomy or brain surgery, but yes, it is. That is true. That is what's happening under capitalism. And that actually reinforces what the my microphone is falling apart right now. I don't know. This but I think it should be fine. Hold on. I'm just gonna. All positive incentives push towards greed. Yes, it does. Help on this one, Marat. This is like I have like 2 interviews back to back, and it's not like going back in. He also says only after communism is achieved can we do that. Yeah.
Of course, this new man could only reach this goal if he wasn't preoccupied with having to earn money. According to Marx, money and the pursuit of it ruined everything. Marx hated money, maybe because he never found a way to make it.
Wait, what?
Getting rid of it was central to his worldview. Once a person's
dude, everything revolves around like individual envy, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, no, he was just like, yo, I hate money, dog. This content is dope. This is fire. It's great because it's like you can use both forms of here. This is falling out. I can't put it back in.
Subsistence, one's daily bread, was distributed on the basis of need rather than greed, man's natural communal affections, long suppressed by his capitalist overlords, would be renewed. This is Marx channeling the 18th century French social thinker Jean-Jacques Rousseau, one of the few people Marx admired. According to Rousseau, this is what you must do if you want to create a new society. He who dares to undertake the making of a people's institutions must feel himself capable of changing human nature, of transforming each individual who by himself is a complete and solitary whole into part of a larger whole from which the individual receives his life and his being.
Thank you, bro.
Understand this, and you understand
brother.
not only a key feature of Marxist thought, but the dark history of the...
Wait, what did he... I just didn't even listen to anything. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what the was going on.
According to Rousseau, this is what you must do if you want to create a new society. He who dares to undertake the making of a people's institutions must feel himself capable of changing human nature, of transforming each individual who by himself is a complete and solitary whole into part of a larger whole from which the individual receives his life and his being. Understand this, and you understand not only a key feature of Marxist thought, but the dark history of the 20th century.
I mean, this isn't wrong. Like, yes, if you personally, lived under a, like, the current organization of the economy 100% guides all avenues of existence. Like, all facets of our life is, yes, guided by the way that the society is designed to uplift and reinforce capitalist hegemonic attitudes, okay? Pro-capitalist hegemonic attitudes. So yes, saying that a different organization of the economy is possible and would lead to many benefits, such as people having time to focus on themselves, people having time to people actually changing their attitude to focus more on community. That's not incorrect. And for a Republican, supposedly, or a person who is like supposedly, American liberal, you know what I mean? To to personally find this to be a bad take is so strange.
Marx took Rousseau literally. Human nature had to be returned to its allegedly pure, selfless state before capitalism, with its enlightenment and Judeo-Christian values.
Okay, first and foremost, okay, human nature is a idiotic argument regardless. It's a fallacy. Okay? Our entire existence is built upon overcoming nature. So that's really dumb. Secondly, okay, before capitalism and its enlightenment of Judeo-Christian values, what the do you mean? Even Judeo-Christian values predate capitalism. Okay? And we're not as such. This idea that like Jesus Christ was a capitalist is a silly one. But not only that, but also primitive accumulation, primitive communism is a much longer period of mankind's existence where there was no such profit incentive. And that's simply what Marx is mentioning when he talks about like a different organization of economy is possible. And even if you were to claim that like nature plays a role in this, even from a natural perspective, we have lived as hunter-gatherers, and we have lived in primitive communist organizations for much, much longer than we have as a capitalist society. That's it.
Values corrupted him. But creating this new man would be a formidable task. Marx anticipated that many would object, especially the owners and managers that had a large...
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why they would object. By the way, this is so funny, the way that they're like showing the owners and managers, like they're doing like unironic anti-capitalist agitprop by doing this. I think it's pretty funny to do so.
Stake in the capitalist system. Friendly persuasion wasn't going to get the job done.
I mean, it's true. It hasn't, and it failed. And it's not like the capital owners engage in friendly persuasion. Friendly persuasion is just icing on the cake on top of many different methods of control. So what the does he mean, friendly persuasion? It's not friendly persuasion when the police force is used to destroy striking workers, okay? To over the picket line. It's not friendly persuasion when Amazon changes the outside of the Bessemer facility because they realized that like organizers were standing outside of that red light and actually were able to talk to the workers that are leaving the factory without having overseers overlooking them. That's not friendly persuasion. Okay, friendly persuasion isn't when Coca-Cola uses death squads to murder Colombian labor organizers. That's not friendly persuasion. What do you mean?
Only the ruthless application.
Yeah, friendly persuasion is when healthcare is tied to your job. That's one of the most interesting parts about being anti-capitalist in the United States of America is that like America is in the final stage of like capitalist exploitation, but also in the final stage of capitalist commodity fetishization as well. So in a weird way, it's harder to bring about like any kind of class solidarity amongst the working class because we're too consumed and we're too consumed with our own personal base desires that are being like functionally fulfilled, and food prices are stable across the board. So like those needs are somehow relatively met, and like the poor are pushed away, and you can actually use them as an example of what will happen to you if you don't actually work super hard, right? But also at the same time, there are so many aspects of our existence that is so inhumane and so cruel that it does have a radicalizing effect. Okay, that radicalizing effect is food prices not so stable. Okay, first and foremost, brother, I'm Turkish. Trust me, in the United States of America, there's a couple things that are, it's a little bit better than the rest of the world. When I say stability, I mean like trust. Okay, it's definitely more stable than what it could be like. Primitive accumulation and enclosure demonstrates that coercion is at the heart of capitalism. Exactly. So, as I was saying, wait, what the was I saying? What was I talking about? God damn it. I got caught up in the food price instability. Oh, friendly persuasion. If food prices in America are ever, just hit the fan, sure. Okay, capitalist persuasion. Yeah, capitalist persuasion. Oh. The way to recognize and to be able to radicalize people and do agitprop is also relatively easy in America because, like, I think in many ways it's like harder for people to recognize that they're being f***ed over if they have some of their needs met. You know what I mean? Because, like, social democracies have given, welfare states have given new breathing light into capitalist organizations of the economy. They've actually they've stopped the inevitable contradictions from playing itself in the way that it normally would, right? Which is what makes it even harder. I'm not an accelerationist by any means or anything like that, but obviously that is part of the reason why it is really difficult to radicalize and push for even further change in countries like that. Are you still doing the YDSA event? It started at 8. Yes, I will be joining the YDSA event when my time for the call comes, which will be at 8:55 or 8:50, which is in like 30 minutes. Having a few people make it as millionaires for inspiration helps too. Yeah.
Of state power would be up to the task. Marx was all for it. Private property, wage labor, competition in profits, these would have to go. The state, now run by the workers themselves, the dictatorship of the proletariat, as Marx called it, would control production and pricing. It would wisely manage the economy, from each according to his ability.
Yeah, dude, totally. Because we don't have any sort of centralization right now under the capitalist economy. There's no centralization, subsidies, for example, or I don't know, any kind of like federal control, federal regulation that comes with no additional scrutiny even. Like, for example, when a company knows full well that they'll get bailed out in times of need by the taxpayer, so they can engage in stock buybacks instead of, like, I don't know, and continue to eliminate redundancies because they know that, like, the government will protect them no matter what happens. That sort of understanding is really cool. I love that. I love when capitalists are like, yeah, dude, it's wonderful that we have a totally capitalist economic organization with no centralized control. The only difference right now is that, like, you're paying for it. You're actually working in the fields, and then your surplus labor value is being taken from you, and then those people are literally feeding back into the machine to ensure that there is more corporate welfare and that you can't get any of that because that would be considered a moral hazard, okay? And then those very same capitalists that are taking your surplus labor value are able to design the system in a way that suits them, it suits their needs, okay? And they do personally benefit from a centralized economy.
The economy, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. And imagine how wonderful it would be. No more ego, no more self-interest. Instead, everybody working for the benefit of everybody else. Peace, love, and harmony. For many, it's a very seductive idea. Who wouldn't aspire to live in such a world? Look around, a Marxist might say. The powerful exploit the weak, crushing the majority's noble aspirations, your aspirations, just so they can have more. It's unfair and unjust. How much better if we just start over, start clean? That's the Marxist socialist dream.
Wait, this doesn't sound bad. What's going on?
In real life, it's a nightmare.
Oh,
never mind.
I love that he was like, all the things that could be good, actually, well, they're bad. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah. Yeah. Hey, you want all those good things? Well, guess what, dude? All those good things would actually be bad. And then like like a guitar riff in the background. Ha ha! Got you, dude. You got no response, bitch. I'm a capitalist now. Yeah, it was Robot Rock. I was singing Robot Rock.
Become demands, and demands become rights. The best are mocked, and the worst exalted. Innovation withers, while the government grows ever larger. Eventually, the productive become virtual slaves to the unproductive, and the society collapses economically, intellectually, and morally. And then the real...
Yeah. The productive become the unproductive, dude. The productive become virtual slaves to the unproductive. Yeah. Under a socialist order of the economy, we are going to take the business owners and subjugate them. We are going to ensure that these capitalist pig dogs living up atop their ivory mountaintops. Nope, I don't know. I don't know what I would say there. Whatever. And there we're going to turn them into servile dogs for our desires. Their
and the
ivory
society
towers.
Collapses economically, intellectually, and morally. And then the real horror starts. If you think I'm exaggerating, just ask someone who fled the Soviet Union or Cuba or Venezuela.
Dude, oh, come on, dude. We got to run that. We got to run that. Even Murad is chiming in from the background. He said Venezuela before he said it. Where's the meme? Come on, you know what I'm talking about. He did the meme. Does anyone have the video? We watched it the other day. This video had no sources the entire time. Yeah, of course not, dude. They're just making shit up. What? This? Take a week off, chatter. No, come on, dude. Here, this.
Here is the actual distribution.
He did this, dude. This video is just this.
Poorest Americans don't even register. They're down to pocket change.
Venezuela.
Start a small business instead. That's true. This is literally true, dude. I love that because like that video so succinctly it describes exactly what this nerd is trying to explain. You know what I mean? Yeah, 4 billion killed by socialism. The real epic own about socialism isn't any of this. It's the top of the hour ad break. Okay, where you all collectively have to get owned by me running the top of the hour ad break. 28 minutes in, I have brought you in to my bosom. Okay, and I have given you a false sense of comfort and security. You thought there was not going to be a top of the hour ad break, and there is one. And even if I forgot to run it exactly at 5 p.m., I'm going to run it at 5:30 p.m., 28 minutes late. Because guess what? I can do that because I love capitalism, okay? Yeah, it's not right. But hey, listen, you no longer want to see those ads. All you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. You can use it on your favorite capitalist streamer, okay? Here's a 1 minute ad break now.
It's risk and inequities. They prefer freedom. And we should too. I'm Brad Thompson, professor of political science.
Fuck yeah, dude. Brad Thompson is he's goated, dude. I should probably join this thing. There's like a couple more people. Okay, we can maybe watch one more of these before I join the call.
Clemson University.
The last one. I'm gonna try to finish the last one because we're learning so much about like.
Why does anyone still care about Marxism?
Understanding Marxism changed the world. Okay, this one is gonna be good.
Engraved on Karl Marx's tombstone in Highgate Cemetery in North London are the following words. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Substitute the word professor for the word philosopher. We really don't have philosophers anymore, and you get right to the core of Marx's enduring attraction to the contemporary world. Marx demands that the intellectual class, the professors of law, sociology, history, women's studies, anthropology, journalism, and so on, come out of the ivory tower and join the barricades, to see themselves not as the preservers of the dusty past, but the creators of a new and glorious future. The lure has proven to be very strong, and it's not hard to understand why. How much more meaningful, exciting, and romantic to see yourself as an agent of change rather than a mere academic. How much more meaningful, exciting, and romantic to see the young people who fill up your classroom as potential soldiers in the cause. Send them into the world with the same revolutionary spirit, the same disgust toward bourgeois middle-class values that you feel, and you've done your job. And we must give these lecture hall revolutionaries their due. Look around. For the most
It's always so funny because it's like, dude, you're a college professor. Like, what the do you mean? Oh, dude, it's only good if you're a college professor that's like upholding the very same systems. You know what I mean? It's like you're literally a college professor at Clemson, dog. What the are you talking about? He's like, yeah, but it's okay. It's okay when I am using my position as an educator to like misguide you.
part, they've succeeded. Drill into any current left.
Yeah, I love doing that, but also in the opposite direction at a fake university that's not a real university, that is actually only alive as a consequence of oil barons funding it. Okay. Not for any other reason, but like oil barons are giving me money currently so I can just lie to people. That's the appropriate way to do it.
Leftist movement, environmentalism, critical race theory, the massive expansion of the welfare state, not to mention diversity, equity, and inclusion offices at every university and major corporation, and you will find Marxism at its core. A contempt of the Enlightenment and the Judeo-Christian value system from which capitalism springs. Marx's most famous call to action, workers of the world unite, was not, of course, to the professoriate, but to the laboring class. That didn't work out so well.
By the way, like, I know that people are people get annoyed with like PhDs and but like, I mean, you're still an exploited worker as a PhD by these like neoliberal institutions that are like you know what I mean? So I don't know why there's this attitude there. It's like, for a guy who supposedly knows a lot about Marx, it's kind of weird that like he's just automatically like, no, if you're an educator, actually you're literally not. Like an educator or a researcher, sometimes both, right? As a PhD, you're not a worker. You're just not. You're an elitist. So have fun getting paid literally nothing.
Workers, especially in the United States, turned out to be more interested in refrigerators than revolutions. The only barricade they were passionate about was a white picket fence in front of a green suburban lawn. Poor, benighted souls, the appeal of Marxism was somehow lost on them. Maybe because they didn't go to college. But the intellectual class...
No, it actually has nothing to do with college. And everything to do with like the purposeful dismantling of labor organizing and labor unions as the American bourgeois capitalist government has completely robbed the working class of any spark of action, any hope for change. That's it. Labor aristocracy equals global proletariat. I mean, even the labor aristocracy's over in the United States of America.
Never lost faith. even after Stalin, even after Mao, even after Castro wrecked Cuba, even after Pol Pot murdered millions of his fellow Cambodians, even after Hugo Chavez destroyed the strongest economy in South America, the academic elite...
Yeah, famously, dude, Chavez totally destroyed it. Totally. I love, like, doing multiple coup attempts and basically a successful, well, technically unsuccessful business plot on a country with like robust natural resources that are like literally a necessity for, you know, the current global economy's survival, and then dismantling it by one, sanctioning everything, okay, for the crime of nationalization, a liberty afforded only to countries like Norway. That he really destroyed it, dude. Chavez really it all up, huh? It's so bad. It was literally Venezuela was the strongest economy in South America. I mean, it was, and it was under Chavez's reign as well, until, you know, the numerous attempts internally, backed by the CIA and the American State Department, got enough of the, especially the food production industry, to, you know, support any attempt of diversifying their economy, and that paired up with sanctions destroyed their economy.
Remained true believers. Indeed, in a world without faith, where God is dead, Marxism has become, in effect, a substitute religion. One of the major strengths of...
As opposed to the good religion, the Judeo-Christian values, the capitalist Judeo-Christian values that I am telling you.
Marxism, in contrast to both modern liberalism and conservatism, is the unyielding commitment of its followers to this faith, to bear witness to it, and to act on it. It summons these followers to join a crusade to destroy the evil that is capitalism and to create the good that is communism. In our secular world, the Marxist ideal gives the Marxist true believer a reason to live, a reason to die, and a reason to kill. Monsters like Lenin, Stalin, Mao, Kim Il-sung, Ho Chi Minh, and Pol Pot took this to the nth degree.
Monsters like a Ho Chi Minh. Bro. He said monsters like Lenin. Monsters like a Ho Chi Minh. Also Pol Pot, like, you know, kind of aligned with Henry Kissinger more than anything else. You know what I mean?
And murdered millions. For the record, the latter two were politically educated in France. Pol Pot studied at the Sorbonne. If you think I'm exaggerating the evils of Marxism, if you think Stalin and those other guys got communist...
Wait, what the... Like, virtually all of these leaders have studied in Western institutions. What the... They have some connection to... Wait, I don't understand. Is he saying that the... Okay.
Wrong, but your new democratic socialism will get it right? Think again. Marxism leads a society toward a fixed goal, a utopian vision of pure freedom in which the individual is liberated from the false consciousness of capitalism. Unfortunately, by Marx's own definition, the path to this utopia requires the destruction, economically, politically, and morally, of every vestige of civilization as we know it. Economically, Marxism seeks to destroy free enterprise, the division of labor, profit and loss, competition.
Why would Marxism seek to destroy the division of labor? Like, sure, okay, maybe free enterprise, but like, why would... Like, I don't get it. Like...
to destroy free enterprise, the division of labor, profit and loss, competition, and material wealth.
Okay, look, there are I mean, I don't know what he is. I don't know what he means by all of this. Okay, but profit and loss, like what? So how do you destroy loss? Let's say you destroyed profit, but how do you destroy loss? Oh, wait. Oh, I'm literally up next. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm seeing that they've changed my time.
Marxism seeks to destroy free enterprise, the division of labor, profit and loss, competition, and material wealth. Politically, it seeks
Destroying material wealth. Politically, he wants to destroy the rule of law, the separation of powers, and freedom of speech. Okay, this is too good. But I have to join this this YDSA call right now, chat. Okay.